Welcome back to another video. Today's topic is going to be about how to expand your existing UK business, which is currently e-commerce, such as Amazon, eBay, Wayfair, Etsy, Shopify, WooCommerce, or whichever, and you want to expand to the USA. Obviously, US is a much bigger marketplace, region, and also you have a lot more potential buyers compared to the UK due to the population, and also maybe due to the popularity of your actual product and brand out there, and the possibilities are absolutely huge. So how do you actually expand now that you've made a decision? How do you expand there, and what are the things that you have to follow, and what things that you need to bear in mind or in your checklist before you actually go to the USA? If you want to know this video is for you. Let's carry on and move into the actual details. Now, before all that, first question comes into mind: can you actually do Amazon FBA from another country? Absolutely, you can. Since Amazon does most of the heavy lifting for you, such as like storing your inventory in local warehouses, shipping, packaging, and you can run an FBA business anywhere in the world from comfort of your home. They offer numerous services to help streamline the process. All you need to do is ensure your product meets marketplace requirements. If Amazon USA is the question, which it is in this video, and if you are from the UK, which I'm focusing towards, and you are definitely eligible to sell in the US market using the Amazon platform. Now, this can be achieved in multiple ways. Number one is going to be about using your existing Amazon account that you have got in the UK or Europe. You simply open the account in USA, which allows you to trade in two other countries such as like Canada and Mexico. So you could use the existing account and link it up together under the same company or same proprietary that you have got in the UK, or you could completely open a new LLC and open a new Amazon account over there with the help of a new email address, and you are the only proprietor or director, or you are the only owner, and you have to just follow the Amazon process for you to do that. So yes, it's possible. It's very simple. It's not complicated, straightforward, as long as you follow the guidelines. All right, next is decide on where and what to sell. So understand the opportunity that selling internationally on Amazon offers your business. Learn where you can sell through Amazon, what is required, including taxes and regulations, and strategic considerations for entering a new marketplace. So decide on where and what to sell. So if you're selling in the USA, now are you going to sell in multiple states of the USA, or you're targeting all of the states? So in our recommendation, you target all of the states, and I start marketing your business, because sales tax is not really a matter of worry at this stage. The reason for it is sales tax only come in place when you hit the threshold, and when you hit the threshold, it means either you're making sales in that region, or you are actually storing one or some of your products in there. That's what you meant the threshold, which is that nexus in American terms, and threshold is obviously, we use threshold in the UK quite a lot. Decide on actually which states, or is the whole country you're going to sell. Is it actually America, or is it going to be the USA, or is it going to be Canada, or is it going to be Mexico? So number one, for you to make sure your whereabouts, so you can go through the customers' cultures and attitudes and their taste for your product, right? And what to sell. Obviously, if you have an existing business, you know what to sell. You want to expand that reach of your existing clients, existing product base, through new clients in the USA, and that's what you want to sell. But if you're thinking of a new product, make sure you have all the plans and everything in place for the new products, so you know exactly what you're going to sell. Where and what to sell are very, very important in this case, since you're going to expand it, and there will be a lot of cost and a lot of setup and a lot of other things involved in terms of tax, transportation, customers, marketing, advertisement, everything really. All right. Next, in ideal case scenario, is register and list your products. So by register, what I mean, make sure to register your Amazon account and start listing your products. If you're already an Amazon seller, you would know this, and you would know that you have to get an Amazon account up and running before you start even buying or talking to your supplier. Make sure you actually get your Amazon account up and running. Once that's been approved and you have got the account, then you can start listing your products, so making sure the products are live and they work working smoothly. That's your next stage. Once you've done that, then you can move to the other stages of the actual process of the business. Ship and fulfillment is next on my list. Now, ship and fulfill, by that what I mean is that once you have registered your products, you will need to make sure that you have a process in place how you're going to actually ship your products to the warehouses and fulfill for the customers from the warehouse to the customers delivery or shipping address. Now, if you are not going to use Amazon fulfillment, you have got other options such as 3PL, third party logistics warehouses, where they would also do the same thing to Amazon, maybe a bit cheaper, but not as efficient as Amazon. Is always the case, trust me on that. All right, so what will happen is you will have to ensure that a process, or you have got through the systems that how you're going to actually ship your products from your existing suppliers to the actual warehouse, which is based in the USA. Now, is it going from the UK, or is it going from China, or is it going from Europe or Middle East? Wherever it's going from, right, you have to make sure that your logistics and everything in place that goes so you can take the products into the USA, and there is no interference or there is no massive surprises down the road. You're not prepared for it. So you need to be prepared to speak to your actual freight agencies and ask them that, look, these are the products I'm trying to ship. Is there any customs and duties or any specific rules that I need to follow for the USA customs? Obviously, getting the products in the UK, you had no issues. Now, can I expect any issues for the products while it's going in the USA? You never know. There could be issues, all right? Don't assume that there is going to be no issues. It's best to assume there's going to be some issues. Why? Because when the problem arrives, you don't want to sort it then. It's going to cost you a lot of money to store the product and hold on to that, and you might eat away all your profit by the time you actually figure out a solution for the problem. So let's sort it out before you actually move your products, right? So you have the solution in place, and what documents and what to get in place before you even start moving any products. So next stage to that is fulfillment. And now either you're going to fulfill through Amazon, or you're going to fulfill through another third-party logistics, all that you sell, through Amazon FBA or FBM. So you need to have that in place as well. If you're going to sell through Amazon FBA, again, just like logistics, you need to make sure that there is no, issue. You can speak to one of your account managers in Amazon. You usually can have an account manager, and if you don't, you can speak to, Amazon seller support, and you can send them a message. Look, this is what I'm trying to export, or sell in the USA. Is there any issue that I can face with this category, with this ASIN? Can you tell me, or guide me through something? All right, or you just have to do your online research, due diligence, making sure there is going to be no nasty surprises while you're actually starting to operate that business. It's best to know about those issues upfront, so you have a solution. You can think about it. You can make the right decision before you spend money and put time towards it. All right. Now that you've figured out the actual shipping, FBA, logistics, and all those opening accounts, doing product research and stuff. So it's important at this stage to know how you're going to manage the actual business. Because it's not all about just sending the products and listing the products on Amazon, is it? There's going to be customer service, there is going to be, returns, there is going to be local law and legislation to follow, and also there is going to be, lots of other day-to-day queries, partners queries, customers queries, and third-party queries will be coming towards yourself. How is that you're going to manage the business? You need to have a plan in place that, this is what you're going to do, A, B, C, right? You need to have a list of what you're going to do, and what you can expect while you're managing the business. So number one, it could be that you want to manage your advertisement, you need to manage your PPC campaigns, as well as you need to manage your returns, customer service, and it could be that you need to keep a credit card, for example, in place, making sure that you have it, because you might need to have a registered credit card in your name, in your billing address, which can help you to put on Amazon account for maybe any PPC campaigns, or maybe just to even verify the account. So there's quite a few things that you need to keep in place. So managing the business on a day-to-day basis is obviously as crucial as operating the business. Otherwise, how are you going to operate the business? So it's like having a boat but don't know how to sail. So what's the point? How are you going to get to the destination? You need to make sure that you have these tools or support in place. Are you going to have a customer service agent? And you should have some FAQs in place and knowledge base for your business, making sure you can tackle those. And if you are already running an existing business and you already have those in place, because in England we speak in English and USA they speak in English, so that's a massive advantage for yourself. If you already have those in place and know worries, you know what you're doing, and just bear in mind to keep the management section in place and boom, move forward with it. Last but the most important thing is tax and registration. So tax and registration is something that you need to think about before you take all the steps you talk about, all right, in this video. Now I kept it the last to make it the most interesting, because people who are flowing through this video, they get to benefit from the actual most important topic here. Tax and registration. What do you need to know and what do you need to keep in place? So number one thing, I'm going to divide into two different sections. All right, so say number one, you already have a UK limited company, and all you're doing here is expanding the UK limited companies base from UK to the USA. So in this case, what would happen is we would get you'd get treated as a UK resident to the US residents as a treaty agreement that UK and USA has between the government, saying that you will never pay a double tax if you trade in the USA with a UK limited company or UK company, for example. You will also need to comply with the actual sales tax and legislations that's in place. Obviously, customs and duties vary standard. We already know that from this video, but sales tax is one of the most important things that you need to keep in mind. Yes, Amazon takes care of the sales tax, but it does not, eliminate the necessity of you, going ahead and registering the sales tax and making sure you're paying that right amount, and that's your sole responsibility, making sure you do that. Otherwise, there are hefty fines and legal notices coming your way. Trust me, it happens. We see on a regular basis. All right, so it sounds scary, but it's best to have this in place before you think or start moving your business to the USA. So next case of scenario is that let's assume you have the UK limited company, but you want to keep it as it is, and you need to reach your brand, or take your brand forward to the USA with the same products. However, you want a new company, which is ultimately could be LLC in the USA. So LLC, what LLC are you talking about? We're talking about disregarded LLC by a non-resident, because you don't live in the USA, you live in the UK. So you would be opening an LLC that is called disregarded LLC. Now you open in Delaware, Florida, Texas, or wherever. Delaware is a super fancy spot because that benefit you get as a foreign business owner. So if you open LLC in the USA, you do get all that benefits, like you get fresh cards, business accounts, and everything. You can keep things simple for USA. In USA, keep one company for that region only, because the biggest marketplace in the world, and you would then basically leverage on the USA side of things with the USA company. You can also expand to Mexico, Canada easily, although you can with the UK, but it becomes just simply a process having that company in the USA, which is the LLC. Now LLC comes with a few more responsibilities. It's got its yearly returns, such as financial accounts and profit and loss, as well as it does have to comply with the sales tax. Sales tax is never going away. It's there regardless. Is LLC meaning that you have to pay tax in USA and UK? No. You only pay tax for your self-assessment, for your personal income in the UK. You again do not pay in the USA. There are forms and things in place that we can actually comply with to make sure that you do not pay double tax. So prepare for the tax in advance, making sure that the process and policies in place. If you need to speak to somebody, we do the whole of UK, Europe, as well as USA, all in one place, under one umbrella in terms of tax. Speak to us, guys. Make sure you make the right decision. We guide you through the right process. And if you do need the service, we are also here. All right, so click the link below to look at sterlingsglobal.com. Thank you for carrying on with the video. So I'm going to give you a couple of tips and recap the video about what you need to do and what you need to take away. Make sure your products and plans and accounts are in place. You understand the managing of the business, as well as you have logistics in place. So you speak to your actual shipping agent, making sure the customs and duties are going to go through smoothly. There won't be any hectic later on throughout the process, and you figure this out upfront. Other thing is you need to understand you have a tax specialist in place, and they take care of your full account, so they can look after the tax side of things. Next thing is you need to ensure that you comply with the patents as well as IP regulations in the USA, which is very, very strict, and do a check of your products patent and IP before you actually move your product in the USA, making sure nobody's going to put a claim on you after you've done all this work, spend all the money, put all the effort. So these are my quick tips to the video, and I would like to thank you very much for carrying out for so long. And I'm sure if you have been part of this video throughout and you benefited even 1%, that would be my success of my time, really. So, and I would totally appreciate if you press a like button or just at least subscribe if you want to see the next videos or something like that. All right, so other than that, thank you very much for staying with us, and I'd like to wish you a very nice day or evening ahead, and catch you on the next one. Thanks a lot, guys. Bye bye now. What's going on, guys? Welcome to Sterling's, and today's topic is going to be about top 10 most interesting facts that you should know about Amazon FBA, which is the pan-European bet and is VAT. So without wasting further time, let's move to the actual topic. So number one is, what is pan-European FBA? Now, as you know, Amazon has got FBA facilities in multiple countries in Europe. Now, Europe has got a few other countries except the UK, where UK had a Brexit, so we had a separation, but it's actually all combined already. So they had a lot of paperwork and gone through everything, and now UK is back to how it was before the Brexit in terms of Amazon FBA facilities. So if you do Amazon FBA, you can only do from one country, or you can do from multiple countries. Okay, so you can do for UK, or you can do for Germany, as well as you can do in Italy, France, or wherever you want. However, if you want the combined service of Amazon FBA for 5 or more countries, such as like Germany, Spain, Italy, UK, and Poland and Czech Republic together, then that would be classed as a pan-European FBA program. So Amazon has designed it like that because it gives Amazon lots of different opportunities for it to actually market your product better and to provide the clients a better service in terms of Amazon fulfillment. Amazon FBA also has called stock distribution. So in pan-European FBA, what it does, when it has got enough stock, it will distribute their products throughout those 5 to 8 countries in Amazon network, and basically distribute them equally depending on the demand, and they will keep them in multiple warehouses across Europe. So where if you have one Amazon FBA warehouse in the UK, or say one country in the UK and products in multiple warehouses in UK, now in this case in pan-European FBA, it's 5 countries or more at the same time, including the Europe. That's what Amazon pan-European FBA is. Pan, is kind of like, means all. That's the term that is, implying towards. So one of the interesting facts is that when do you become VAT obligated within pan-European FBA? You may ask yourself, okay, now I've signed up for FBA, do I have to pay VAT straight away, or do I have to register for VAT straight away? Well, technically, legally, you don't have to, all right? But in terms of business operation, you should. The reason why I'm saying that is because if you plan to go into pan-European FBA and you have your products ready to ship, and all currently sailing, and it's going to be in European warehouses, it's going to be almost impossible for you, because if you don't have the VAT numbers and EORI numbers in those regions, how are you going to even import them? So that's going to be major chaos for you with storage fees and everything. So before you actually go into pan-European FBA or activate it, you should look into registering for VAT and get all your legal taxation sites in one place. This in terms of business preparation operation, yeah. But if you ask me that do I have to register for VAT yet? The answer is no. You only need to register for the VAT when you actually land the product into one of the warehouses. So when you have basically activated pan-European FBA on Amazon, Amazon would have told you that you need those VAT numbers for these marketplaces, whichever marketplace you allocated for. and you would have to have the VAT numbers by an X amount of deadline, for you to be able to take, benefits of the actual pan-European FBA opportunities. Bear in mind, legally you don't have to register earlier, but in terms of business you should, because it takes weeks sometimes to get VAT registration completed from some of the VAT tax offices, just like German and French are the two most longest ones. They take ages. They can take up to 1 month to 3 months for them to provide you with a VAT number. These are my important ones, so do bear in mind that you register early and you have all your VAT done early when you're sure that you're going to go for pan-European FBA. How does Amazon locate goods in pan-European FBA? Pan-European FBA, as I explained earlier, it works as a combination of 5 or more countries together as your network of warehouses, as well as pan-European client base and things. How does Amazon actually locate those products? So Amazon has got a couple of strategies that they follow. Number one, they will only distribute when their data or their system can tell for the actual ASIN or that category how much demand they have in such and such area, and how many percentage, or how much percentage they should distribute in such and such area. So if there's 5 countries and you send 1,000 units, they would actually calculate automatically what quantity should go into what warehouse. And the reason for it is simply because they need to optimize the placement of products so they are as close as possible to the potential buyer. This reduces delivery time to buyers as much as possible. So this is one of the main reasons why they have to optimize according to the demand, and they will randomly distribute according to the demand in multiple places of warehouses of Europe. Now bear in mind, Poland and Czech Republic, even if you don't have demand in there, they usually store products in those warehouses, and you have to be VAT registered for those 2 countries, is simply because you're storing products in those countries. And if you're not VAT registered, you won't be able to store products or use pan-European FBA, because Europe requires it and Amazon requires it. Amazon likes saving costs, just like we do, and they have warehouses in Czech Republic and Poland where rent rates, wages are lower than actual main areas in Europe, such as like Germany, France, and Italy. So you will have to register for those 2 countries as well in order to take benefits of the other countries where you are selling at the moment. Now that you understand how Amazon locates or distributes its products through multiple warehouses, number 4, one of the interesting facts is going to be who handles complaints and returns in terms of Amazon FBA, pan-European FBA. Just like standard Amazon, FBA in one country, Amazon does the same for the rest of the countries. Either you sell in 5 countries or 10 countries, regardless. All right. Now Amazon is prepared to take, obviously, your returns and complaints in terms of delivery only, or stocking, or bringing the product back only. But if you ask me, what happens if a customer has a problem with the product that they want fixing? Could be like an electrical gadget, they need some information about how to fix it, or maybe how to operate it. You don't have enough information on the product manual page, or customer just needs some customer support. You have to do that bit. Amazon is only responsible for logistics side of things, don't forget, and distribution side of things. All right, you have to do your own customer service still. All right, so Amazon will cover and take care of any complaints arising from shipping problems and returns only. Reliance. What are the advantages of pan-European FBA? I've told you lots of benefits so far, but let's take note of these 2. One of them is shorter delivery times to customers, and second one is reaching out to prime service customers. Let's imagine you have opted in for Germany only, and what you want to do, you want from the German warehouse to distribute rest of the products for Amazon automatically to rest of the countries automatically, without actually sending the products to Italy, Spain, France, or Netherlands. But you want those customers to buy from your German store, and Amazon can facilitate that. That's not a problem. But what you need to realize, Amazon cannot rank your product to the top, or cannot give them the benefit of Prime badge simply because it's based in a different country. Where if it's pan-European FBA, you'd be based in those countries, and Prime customers would see your products and Amazon will rank you quicker. So this is the main reason why Amazon FBA and pan-European FBA is, extremely beneficial and has got much larger opportunities if you're already selling at a scale and you have to grow your business. Number 6, shall I cover what are the actual disadvantages of pan-European FBA model? Now, obviously there are advantages and disadvantages in all, right? Everything we have in life. So positive and negative. So if you take the actual disadvantages on pan-European FBA model, I can only blame the VAT side. Otherwise, the actual growth, it can be massive for the business. So if it's not complicated for you, or if you need to speak to somebody to make an easy journey, you can speak to us and speak to me directly. In fact, and I will guide you through that. However, disadvantage is VAT registration and meeting all its obligation accordingly. And sometimes you might have to be OSS registered as well, and we have to take care of that as well. So you need VAT specialists to eliminate the disadvantage of pan-European FBA, and Sterling is your best friend at this. We understand Amazon quite clearly, as you can understand from these presentations so far. And so VAT registration, VAT calculation, filing, having fiscal representative, as well as making sure regular filings are done, meeting all the deadlines, either monthly, quarterly, or yearly. Interstrat is also met, so you need to make sure you meet these requirements, and these can be the disadvantages really for pan-European FBA. Otherwise, I see pan-European FBA is a great opportunity, but you can eliminate this by employing somebody like ourselves. So number 7, I want to cover why sell with pan-European FBA. Here is my 5 list out of this. Send products to the Amazon European Fulfillment Center in the country of your choice and let Amazon distribute them to meet expected demand. Low fulfillment cost. Reach millions of Prime customers. Provide fast, reliable deliveries. Rely on Amazon's customer support towards your customers. So as you can understand, if you were to distribute them yourself and find 3PL warehouses, that would be a nightmare. And Amazon also allows you to send the products just in one country, which could be, for example, just the UK or just Germany, and it would automatically distribute to the rest of the warehouses. So you don't have to worry about distributing them all the warehouses and into other countries. You just have to activate pan-European FBA and Amazon does the rest. So number 8, I'm going to cover an FAQ which will make understanding of the VAT a bit better for you. You're currently registered for and store inventory in Germany and France. Think carefully. You register for VAT in Germany and France, and you also send your products or store your products in Amazon warehouse in those 2 countries. Your question is, you have no listing in Italy and no inventory stored in Italy neither. Do you need to be registered for VAT in Italy? My answer to that is no, you don't need to be registered for VAT in Italy. But if any of your products is sold in another country outside these 2 countries like Germany and France, even without listing, people do buy. People like somebody living in Portugal, they don't have Amazon there. They would pour amazon.de.es or .fr, whichever is convenient for them, right? And in that case, if that product goes to Portugal from your French or German warehouse, what do you do then? You don't have to register for VAT, but you have to register for OSS if you go above the threshold. And that's another matter that we need to cover another time, but that's all I can tell you for now. All right. Number 9 of my interesting facts is pan-European FBA. How does it work in terms of taxes? Although I explained this in a few different angles multiple times over this video, but here is another different angle. Being enrolled in the FBA program or pan-European FBA program allows Amazon to distribute your goods across EU stores. Now it falls under storing goods and triggers your requirements to be VAT registered in the respective countries of storage. You will be responsible for the collection and payment of your taxes and filing of all relevant returns where required. As soon as you start sending your products to Amazon warehouse, you will trigger the eligibility of actually VAT registration, and you will have to register and calculate and pay for VAT, even though if it's 00, euro or pound, whichever you calculate. So no matter how much you're turning over, even if you're just storing, you still have to do VAT returns, tax return to those authorities accordingly. You may still have to register for OSS if you're meeting the threshold outside those countries and your products are shipped in a country where pan-European FBA is not covered. So you have to bear that in mind as well. Number 10 and the last one, guys. When to register for VAT if based within the EU. So you could be an European citizen and you also based within the Europe, like in one of the countries, like for example, maybe, Spain, France or Italy or anywhere. What do you do then? And that's a good question, because the rest of the topics covered, the rest of the contents covered online is for somebody who is not living in Europe. You can register for the one-stop shop, which is called OSS scheme. And that was introduced, a couple of years ago by the European Parliament to report VAT due on any cross-border sales to countries where you are not already VAT registered. OSS is what you need to look at, and you may still have to register for VAT in some other countries, but it depends on the actual criteria, and we can only advise if you know exactly what you're trying to do and where you're based, how is your goods going to move and things like this. That's it, guys. I covered all 10 for you, and thanks very much for staying so long. And also, if you do have any questions, we're here to answer. We do provide the pan-European FBA service as a service for in terms of VAT and accounting. We cover UK, Europe as well as USA. Visit the link below to go on our website, or simply Google sterlingsglobal.com and you will find us, and we can see you on the other side if needed be. Otherwise, if you want content like this, don't forget to subscribe. And if you like my video and you've learned one thing, please share your video with your friends, or press the like button. At least that would appreciate my effort. So yeah, and thanks very much, and I will catch you on the next one. Bye bye now. Hello guys, and welcome to Sterling's. My name is Arafal. I'm the founder and director of Sterling's Global Limited, an accountancy firm based in the UK at the heart of Liverpool city centre. In today's video, I'm going to cover a very important topic, which is for record keeping practices that every business should have in order to recording your expenses. So exclusively towards expenses, because no matter how much money you make, if you do not organize or do not have control over your expenses, you will never see the light of profit. So expense is extremely important. This is where your energy should focus majorly when you start making any sales or income in your business. Either it is an Amazon, eBay, Shopify, or a taxi, or local in a bakery shop, a retail store, it does not matter. Expenses are the keys to your profit. So expenses, managing those is classed as defense mechanism in a business margin. All right. So you defend your margin to be healthy by controlling your expenses. Right. So today I'm going to jump into the actual core fundamental record keeping, very easy habit that you can build with just a few steps. So I will go through it and you will realize that, wow, this is so easy and simple, and you can actually build a habit accordingly and improve your business health of expenses. All right, so let's jump into the topic. Number 1, separate your personal and business purchases. A lot of business owners make this mistake by having number of expenses going through the personal and throwing it into their bookkeepers or the accountant, saying, yeah, could you just sort that out for me? Look, this is extremely messy, and it is a very negative habit to have in your business. If you have that, what does that explain to you about the rest of the business, how you treat your business? You always need to make sure that you separate your business expenses to your personal expenses. How do you even keep a track of what you're making, what you're spending, whose money is what, where does that belong to if you have a mixture of such? It is important that you know to keep your limit of expenses for the business to the business and for personal to personal. I mean, nowadays it's not hard to open a business bank account. You can have one online in less than 10 minutes or even instantly as soon as you apply. So I don't understand what your excuse would be out there to mix these, except you're just not caring enough about your business. If you're serious about your business, you want to take care of your finances and you need to see the shine light of your actual profit margin in clear standard ways, then do separate your personal and business expenses. So always separate your personal purchases from the business. If you buy something from a supplier and they issue an invoice, make sure that every item on the invoice is for business use only and you pay through the business banking or the cash or whatever reserve you have got. All right, do not include in personal. If you ever have to lend any money to the business because there's not enough money, that's fine, but you do this as a director's loan or owner's loan to your business, then you still spend that money using your business bank account or business expenses. You still don't pay. Just do a separate loan to the business from yourself, but you still pay for the expense using your business expense procedures. Number 2 comes to VAT invoices. Now, ask for a VAT invoice from your supplier to know if you can reclaim VAT and to know if your supplier is VAT registered. VAT can be a very common day-to-day expense that you can claim on any business. All right, either it's an Amazon business, you're a local trade, plumber, electrician, or you are a taxi driver, or you are a retail store or food chain, supply, bar, restaurant, I don't care. You have to make sure that VAT is there on the receipt for you to be able to claim the VAT, and that receipt has at least the VAT number of the actual supplier or the person or the business you're paying to. And also at the same time, your business must be registered for the VAT for at least 20% standard rate for you to be able to claim the VAT from these invoices. So VAT is a major part of your business when you're VAT registered, and also major part of your expenses and your purchases. So ensure to have a VAT invoice so you can claim the VAT. All right, and accordingly you record keep on your books, either using a spreadsheet or on the software like Xero, QuickBooks, or Free Agent or something similar. Ensure that you have the invoice ready and you reconcile it accordingly. Correctly received invoices. That's number 3 on the list. Always check that invoices issued to your business is correct and accurate. Be mindful of the business name and the amounts, and also make sure all the items that's listed are for this purchase and for business purpose only. So correctly received invoices, a double check over the invoice that you receive is one of the most important habits that you can build to save yourself from future headaches from where you paid, how you paid. If you remember or notice this after 1 year, once you go through the invoices and you feel like, oops, they charged me the wrong amount for the wrong item, that's no good. You can't go back to the retailer after a year asking them to fix that for you. You need to check it there and then make sure your invoice is ready. Take your time on the till, or take your time paying, but make sure you're paying after checking and ensuring they're charging for the right amount. It's your money, you take care of it, you work hard for it, you make sure you make every single payment only when it is valid. You don't have to pay anything more than that. Why should you pay for somebody else's mistake? It makes no sense. Be mindful and ensure the invoices are correctly received with the correct details belongs to the transaction and the business. Number 4 comes on my list is organizing your record. It can be a tedious amount of work when you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 or many more receipts on a daily basis. Imagine what's going to happen over the year. So always create a separate purchase invoice folder that on your computer or your cloud, Google Drive, Work Drive, that contains subfolders with each supplier's name for easy identification. So you have a master folder, business expenses. Inside that you have a subfolder with you have subfolders with the actual suppliers' names. So ABC Suppliers Limited. Then you could have Toolstation. Then you could have Screwfix. You could have Wix, B&Q, whoever the supplier is. Right. So accordingly, you put the suppliers' names and create subfolders for each supplier and put all your expenses in those folders. Either you buy from them once or you buy from them multiple times. It's easy to identify the supplier by name, and that's just one of the common psychological habit we have. Like, who did you pay the bill to? You always ask, who is this to? Like, who's that gone to? That's how you recognize it, right? So for you to recognize it, organize your folders accordingly. Why not? That's the easiest way. Inside the subfolders, create a yearly folder to make sure that the purchases done on each year can be found in one place in case you need them in the future. So the subfolder of the supplier AVC Suppliers Limited, you create a yearly folder like 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022. Then after that, you drop the invoices or receipts accordingly, scan and upload them, or copy and paste them, or cut and paste them, however, inside those yearly folders. So anytime the taxman or the bookkeeper or an accountant asking for it is there, just send them the link or download and upload, or however you send them email, is there. That's how simple it is. All right, so organize your record is very important. Number 5 on my list is immediate action. And we love that because we use this in our business practice. Any job, any task comes in, like if an email or a customer query comes in, we don't leave it to the last. Straight away, done and dusted with, everybody is happy. The person contacted us because they need some information. As soon as you give them that much better it is. What's the point keeping the person waiting? So immediate action is something that you must make habit of. That it is no good procrastinating in anything. All right, for this video I'm going to focus on each time you receive an invoice, it is always advisable to keep it right away in its respective folder to ensure that whenever you need it, you will know where to find it. So as soon as you receive an invoice, you simply download and put it in the respective folder of the master folder, subfolder, then yearly folder. Job done. Number 6 on my list is bookkeeping and record keeping. Now, bookkeeping is different from record keeping. Always have your bookkeeper to do the bookkeeping to make sure that your journal and ledgers are correct. You're only responsible to make sure that you keep all the business transactions in one place. So managing those folders for my previous tips will help you to make sure you send everything correctly required by the bookkeeper. Bookkeeper will always make sure everything is reconciled, put in the correct categories and everything. And you need to make sure you have the record keeping in the first place, so the bookkeeper's job is a lot more easier. If you make it harder, they will charge you hourly basis. I don't know which accountant you use. If they don't, I'm surprised. For disorganized files and records, you will always pay extra because those people have to spend the time to sort out the actual disorganization that you have created. So easy, neat record keeping helps the bookkeeper making sure everything is reconciled and taxed properly, guys, right? Number 7 is complete information. Provide everything to your bookkeeper for them to prepare your books accurately without leaving them out. Without leaving anything out, you need to make sure you provide everything to the bookkeeper so they have all the information they need, so they don't have to come back twice, 3 times asking you this, then that. Everybody's easy. Make sure you provide complete information, anything they requested during the conversation or email. Follow it, send everything at once, done and dusted. Number 8, avoiding surprises. That's my last and favorite one. Always remember that whatever your bookkeeper records, this should reflect on your taxes. Incomplete declaration can get you into trouble with the tax authorities. So the respective tax authorities expect complete record keeping as well as bookkeeping and everything filed correctly according to the terms and conditions and legislation set out by the tax authorities. Make sure you provide everything, and a bookkeeper has complete record, as well as you have all the invoices checked from the beginning and everything separated in the respective folders as and when they are required. That was my quick video on the tips, guys, and I hope you've enjoyed that. Now do remember, this video fits anybody and everybody running a business globally, so it's not just for the UK. If you're from USA, Canada, Cyprus, Austria, India, Pakistan, it does not matter where you're from. So every business has got this bookkeeping, record keeping requirement, and you'll have to keep it at least to see what you're doing, even if it's not for tax purposes. and to see your business health, how it's going, right? So build those habits, take this, at least use the tips that I'm giving you, and use it for your own advantages and make your life better and easier. And this is what we are here for. Anyhow, if you do require any bookkeeping, accounting, VAT, sales tax, LLC, LTD, or European VAT, EORI, any sort of services in the UK, USA, and Europe, we're the people to come to. Sterling's Global. Give a thumbs up and subscribe to my video and follow us for the next tips to come on. So thanks very much, and thank you for staying with me for so long, and have a nice day ahead. I'll see you in the next one. What's going on, Amazon sellers? Welcome to Sterling's, your home of tax for UK, Europe, and USA. So today's topic I'm going to do is top 10 things to know about VAT in Europe for Amazon sellers. So if you're an Amazon seller and you are struggling to understand the VAT properly, or you have a few FAQs then to go through, this video is perfect for you. I've gathered only information which are important you must know about VAT in Europe as an Amazon sellers. So without wasting any more time, and let's jump into the topic right now. So out of those 10, I have got a top one for you at the beginning, which is number 1, learn the basics about VAT. A basic understanding of VAT. The European equivalent of US sales tax is critical for your market entry strategy. In this video, I will walk you through an overview of VAT, what it means for your business, and information on how to handle it. So moving to number 2, where to register for VAT. If you store your inventory in Europe, you are required to have a registered VAT where your goods are stored. Many selling partners start their EU journey by storing goods and registering for VAT in Germany and UK. Because the information required for UK and Germany, VAT is simpler than other European countries. Now, a lot of people would like to question this query as well. If I store my goods in the UK or Germany or any other regions in Europe, do I have to register for VAT in that country? The simple answer to that question is yes. It's not just that, it's also when you actually meet the threshold of the country. Now, threshold has been reorganized by the European Parliament and the taxation authorities in Europe. What they've done, they have brought in IOSS and OSS systems in place. So the thresholds work slightly different, which can be covered by a completely different video, so you understand what thresholds you need to meet or how OSS affects your business in Europe. However, to keep things simple, if you store products in any of the countries including UK or any part of Europe, such as Poland, Czech Republic, Italy, France, Spain, Germany, you have to register for VAT in those countries where your products are stored. How do you know where the products are stored? You simply know by sending the products into the actual Amazon warehouse of that country, or you might have got a 3PL warehouse or your own establishment in that country where you're storing the product with a foreign-based company or business. And that's when you meet the threshold to register for VAT. Now, registering for VAT is not enough. You have to make sure you also calculate and file the VAT on a regular basis, either periodically, confirming based on the turnover. Is it going to be monthly, quarterly, or yearly? It depends on the country and the region, and you will be liable to register, compute, and file the VAT regularly for those governments. So moving to number 3 of the actual sections. So most common issues Amazon sellers in Europe are having with VAT. Now, European accounts get suspended because of issues with local VAT authority. So it's a very, very important issue that you need to bear in mind. They only give you a few days or a couple of weeks to sort it out, and there are procedures that you can follow in order to keep your account active. To avoid it, all you need to do is some time upfront of planning and understanding your VAT obligations as an Amazon seller. Now, as Sterling's, We offer these services to easily help with these issues. All right, so you can contact us to have further clarification or go through a free consultation, and we'll be more than happy to help you with the queries that you have. Number 4 of my video, coming to understand VAT obligations early on. Now, VAT isn't something I would trust to a non-well-known accountant. Given the complexity of VAT and how different it is from US sales tax, most sellers hire a European tax expert, and sterling is the right place to go, of course. However, if you do tend to speak to somebody else who can handle the VAT for you in Europe or UK, ensure that they fully understand the e-commerce side of things of the actual VAT. Now, getting a day-to-day traditional accountant is not going to be very helpful for you, because they need to have the full understanding of e-commerce, making sure they understand the Amazon statements, as well as how to calculate and compute the advertising tax, sales Amazon tax that are on storage, as well as FBA, as well as import and duty for international business relations. Quite a few things that you need to consider when you're hiring an international VAT expert to deal with the European or UK VAT on a regular basis. Now, since this is a crucial part of your business in Europe, it is important that you get the right people on board to help you out to make sure you're fully compliant. Number 5 comes on my list is develop a strategy and prepare to launch. As soon as you've started thinking about selling in Europe, make sure you do your research on VAT. It is very important to do research on VAT, and there are lots of ways you can do that. Simple way to do is go on Google or go into online forums or Facebook groups, Quora, as well as go into YouTube and listen to videos like this one, and understanding the obligations that you have. Also, have an expert work with you from the start, which is very important, because having an expert makes a massive difference, who can do consultation on a regular basis and help you on a day-to-day query based on an hourly basis fees or something like this, and who you can trust to provide you the information that you require. VAT will obviously impact your strategy from the beginning, including pricing and fulfillment, so do make sure to have the correct calculations in place, because it can affect your profit and margin very badly if you do not get this correct. So, like for example, Amazon sellers make very slim margin, and that can vary between 10% to 25%. Now, if the VAT is 19% and you have not taken that into calculation or consideration, you are literally in a loss. So you need to make sure you price your products correctly, and calculate all those expenses you have to pay for, as well as VAT, and make sure you have a healthy profit margin. That's why it's important to deploy a strategy and preparing of a launching strategy as well. Number 6 on my list is be agile as you grow. Is extremely important, because things can change on a day-to-day basis depending on regulations, as well as depending on your supplier's mode, as well as the complexity you might have during the import or operating of this business while you are in Europe. Now, once you expand through pan-European FBA, Amazon moves the inventory along among 7 European countries based on customers' demand. Now, that could be 8 or 9 European countries depending on what day or in a month you're watching the video, because Amazon keeps expanding their reach all over Europe on a regular basis. Now, this means the seller must be VAT registered in all 7 countries if you are part of the pan-European FBA program. Okay. So number 7, outsource reporting to a European VAT service. Now, as you launch and grow your Amazon European business, tax filing will be required monthly or quarterly depending on the country. Sometimes it can be yearly as well. Rather than manage the report yourself, outsource it to a European VAT service, like I mentioned before on one of my previous topics, that you can register for VAT. However, reporting something is possible by yourself, but it's not an easy job to do, because a lot of things can go wrong, and later on it might come back to bite you. If you are planning to decent strategy, and also having a flawless process in place for your business, it's important that you hire an expert to do that filing for you. Don't try to figure out VAT yourself. Again, pressing on that, unless you're a tax expert, don't try to handle this on your own. And the reason for it, because the actual, the outcome can be very fatal, massive, fees that can actually lead to, your Amazon account suspension or court proceedings. Oh, can't get my words together. Sorry, or court proceedings, against yourself or the company if you have not met the, actual, complexity of the compliance that's ahead of you in Europe. So it's important that, don't try to figure it out yourself. Number 9 is hire a VAT expert, who understands Amazon in particular. Amazon can be very complex in terms of how they, organize their actual reporting, right? In some countries you may have to pay, may not have to pay, and in some countries you must pay, a certain, amount of the actual VAT. You also value the actual, impact that you'll have from a tax expert, who, specialize in Amazon, because without it, you don't really know if you're doing it right or wrong. Because a tax expert will have the actual knowledge and up-to-date information, as well as they go through regular webinars to keep themselves informed with the regular updates the actual tax authorities have. Not all VAT experts understand the specific requirements of Amazon Europe and Amazon sellers in Europe. So it's important that you find basically tax specialist in Europe who deals with Amazon specifically if you are just selling on Amazon, or if you're selling on e-commerce, they would usually cover Amazon as well. Number 10, do not ignore or delay your VAT registration. Now, doing so can lead to your account being suspended. Given the potentially long processing time, being VAT registered, begin VAT registration as soon as that is required. So now, without that VAT registration, you can't really move ahead of importing or anything into the country. So giving enough time before you begin is extremely important. So make sure you give at least 3 months prior to thinking of importing your products into Europe. So somewhere like Germany, France can take up to 3 months for VAT registration. Now, it's not due to that delays from the actual VAT agent like ourselves. I mean, we can prepare files and document it for you within 48 hours after you receive the information, or even 24 hours. But it's the actual major delays and backlog that you have actually from the tax officers in those countries, and this is where you must remember to have the actual waiting time. So plan ahead and give plenty of time, and make sure the registration is in the process while you're actually preparing the rest of the operations, just like suppliers and others. You may think there is a possibility of the 1% that you might not go ahead even if everything works out. So you still have the VAT registration done, because you can always do register for a small fee, and that's not going to really impact any of the accounts that you hold with Amazon, or your tax compliance in your local. But it's important. It's just important part of the business that you must have if you are planning for a launch. That's all really. So otherwise, I think I've covered a lot in this video. So thanks very much, and I'd like to congratulate you on learning a few important bits from this video. And if you have, I would like to thank you very much. If you could kindly press the like button or subscribe, or leave a comment if you have any question. So thanks very much, guys, and I will see you on the next one. All right, have a good one. Bye bye now. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Sterling's. Once again, I'm with one of my top favorite topics in accounting and VAT, which is to do with Amazon sellers. So today's topic is about the top significant facts that you need to remember while you're selling in the UK and have a company in the UK or a business in the UK as an Amazon seller. So without wasting further time, let's jump into the topic and get this going. Number 1 on my list is keep your business and personal accounting separate. On multiple occasions, we also see our regular clients try to do that, and we inspire them to keep away from mixing up both of the things together. One of the major rules of tidy bookkeeping is to keep business and personal transactions distinct in separate accounts. Business owners often get befuddled by paying their new inventory order from their personal account, or by paying miscellaneous personal bills with their business card. If you mix up business credit card, personal account, business account, is all over the place. It's very, very difficult to do bookkeeping or keep track of actually what you're up to. So it's highly recommended that you have your personal expenses separated from your actual business expense. It's not very difficult, it's very easy. Now if you do have, for example, miles in your say for example in your business, such as like you've got a company car or vehicle, it is very easy to keep a record of how many miles you're actually traveling per trip, which relates to business only. Then you can get paid by miles rather than actually getting paid by receipts of the actual fuel cost. So that's one of the smarter way to separate it. However, other than that, if you're doing day-to-day shopping or spending something for yourself, look, it's not difficult, it's very easy. You just need to use your personal card for your personal expenses. Do not mix up the actual business expense, guys. If you do need money from the company for your personal expense, that's fine. You can just simply do a withdrawal with like kind of like a reference number, director's withdrawal or dividend. Then your accountant, bookkeeper, or if it's ourselves, we can then basically say we record it as a director's withdrawal and basically put it into the right category so we can reconcile it properly for you. Right, number 2 on my list is file your taxes on time. You always need to make sure you file your taxes on time. And in the UK, HMRC has got strict policies on filing taxes on time. You've got no excuse. These and almost everything is digital here. So if you're looking at VAT, if you're looking at payroll, if you're looking at corporation tax, everything digital, guys. So it's a matter of preparing on time and pressing the button. It takes a minute for it to upload and job done. Okay, that's how it is. So you need to file your tax on time to avoid penalties and such. We know a client has been paying for he or she had a VAT return, and only basically they had to pay like about £50 for that quarter, and for a couple of quarters they had to pay another £100 another £80, but their fines, actual penalties, were more than £100. So basically their actual fines and penalties compounded to a level that actually gone over the payment of the VAT. So it's no point wasting this kind of money. I mean, always pay your tax on time and pay your bills on time. So that's very important for you to make sure that you do file your taxes on time. Now if your accountant is not sending you reminders or doing this on time, I would say that's a very, very negative practice that you have currently in your organization. So you need to speak to your accountant, bookkeeper to absolutely organize that properly for you so all the deadlines are met correctly. And if you do need one, you can speak to us, we'll help you out. Delaying and excuses mean that critical things are missed out. Seller may fail to see vital information in a timely manner, or the business may find itself in complete mess and disorganized when it comes to critical times such as tax season. The best remedy for this is to go for end-to-end automation, including invoicing, the reordering of transactions, and accounts payable. So these are the habits and processes that you can implement in your Amazon business to make sure you prepare your tax and file on time. Number 3, and a very important one, is that let qualified accountant consultants do the job. Information gathered from the internet and other public domains can help only to a certain extent and cannot be fully relied upon for authenticity. It's always better to get some professional advice wherever possible, at least in the beginning or at least at the time of filing taxes. The reason for it is basically, do you want to spend your time saving the £100 a month accountancy fee where you could actually put that hours of time learning more about how to sell on Amazon or improve your stats, how to read more data, and how to improve your PPC campaigns, how to increase your ranking, and how to beat your competitors' actual product that's beating your sales? Now, where do you want to focus? Ask yourself. So do you want to waste your energy or put your full energy and actual focus towards the little bit nitty-gritty of learning for saving the 50-100 quid a month from delegated to an accountant, or do you want to actually implement your energy and your focus towards improving your business? Now that's for you to answer. I can only inspire you and tell you the actual truth. So it's always worth outsourcing to a professional who knows what they're doing, and they will always do a much better that job than you can do by doing small research or then research online, which is not going to be perfect, or there are possibilities of creating multiple errors that could come back and bite you later, where when the taxman was to, or if ever the taxman was to ask a question about what happened there and such. All right, so it's always worth asking a consultant or a qualified accountant to do the job for you, or hiring one, and basically it doesn't cost much money. The value you get is amazing. So let the qualified people do this type of work, okay? Where if it was to do with PPC or ranking or anything like this, you could possibly try them on your own, because you don't have to answer that to anybody, okay? Where the accounting and finance, you have to answer basically the government or the tax office, HMRC, which can be causing a bit of trouble for you later on. Number 4, and a good one on my list, is keep track of all your expenses. Complete digitalization means there can be items that are not automatically recorded. Any kind of cash purchases for that business needs to be recorded without fail. The way to ensure records are always accurate is to avoid using cash if at all possible. Effort should be made to use business credit or debit cards or electronic methods of payments. If you fully digitalize everything, it's a bit scary, because what if the software fails? So a prime example I can say to you is bridging software, something that actually brings the data from, for example, Amazon to Xero or QuickBooks. If you fully rely on that, there's a good possibility that things could go wrong, and we've seen that throughout our experience. We know clients had to pay multiple penalties and had to come back after years, from relying on this type of software. I'm not against the software, but what I'm saying to you is that you do have to make sure you keep a track on the software, keep an eye on the software. Don't fully go to sleep thinking that software is doing its job on its own. There could be technical errors. It could be recording, missing transactions, or it could be recording partial, or it might be recording wrong or incorrect formula. End of the day, you're leaving it on a third party who is not a qualified accountant to import that data for you. So if you have somebody in that place to record that for you, do the bookkeeping, you can rely on the person. That person will handle the job carefully, because the person, even though they're using digitalization. Now also, you need to remember that try to use cash as less as possible, and try to use credit card, a business credit card I always recommend, and pay the credit card bill every month. Don't leave it at, all right? So you don't get interest and things like this. Most of the credit cards these days basically without any interest if you were to pay the balance on a monthly basis. So these things will help you to keep a clean record of your actual expenses using cards, using software, but making sure you speak to your bookkeeper to ensure that everything is running smoothly, or delegate it towards a bookkeeper, and also ensure that you keep everything within the business for business expenses. Number 5, and a very good one, guys, is to critical parameters to understand. Now, there are some critical parameters that you need to understand while you're operating an Amazon business in terms of the accounting and VAT. One of the biggest mistakes Amazon sellers commit is not factoring in Amazon fees properly when products are sourced and priced. It's important to know exactly what net margin is going to be for each product that is being sold. Fees are frequently the major chunk of expense of the Amazon seller. Some should be calculated for each product, because fees can work out to be up to 45 to 55%, although around 25% is standard. And that's the ultimate truth, guys. You do need to take this into factor before you even order any product from your supplier. That are your retail prices accurate? Is there a margin you can make profit with? So what you need to realize is that you need to calculate Amazon fees in advance with the ASIN or similar product from Amazon FBA calculator, and calculate all your expenses upfront. Consider your marketing cost, storage cost, and everything. Then basically price the product. Otherwise, you could be cutting a loss rather than taking a loss rather than cutting the loss, and rather than taking a profit margin at home. So it's very important to calculate this, and that's one of the smallest but most important the accounting or calculative tasks that you can do in your Amazon business. Next on my list is be prepared for tax time, and it is one of the crucial ones as I covered earlier. Meeting the tax deadline is extremely important. However, on a yearly basis you do have to do a lot more taxes than actual doing quarterly VAT or monthly payroll. The seller needs to take care of few important factors, such as deductions should not be claimed without original tax receipts. To avoid the risk of over or underreporting of income, there should be complete control over numbers. Sales tax is an important factor to consider. While going for the DIY route, the business owner should be aware of all the deductions, tax receipts, and everything need to be kept in place, and making sure that you have them ready for their final calculations during the tax time. If you don't have a proper record keeping practice in place, then you will struggle to do that. I've created other videos of day-to-day or general record keeping habits. Make sure to watch that. I will put that link down in the description below as well, and you'll be able to learn a bit more from there. And last on my list is you need to worry about bookkeeping throughout the fiscal year and not during just the tax time. What I mean is that think about bookkeeping at day-to-day task. All right, don't think about it's only due when the tax time is due. All right, I mean, you can do it while the tax time is due, but it's a lot of headache and a lot of things to go through, and you don't know where you're up to. It's extremely messy, guys. All right, you want to keep on top of your finances, so you know where you're up to with your business in terms of profit, in terms of expenses, in terms of what's coming, in terms of forecasting, so you can also plan your next inventory, if the business is working out for you, if it's worthwhile or not. For all these reasons, timely bookkeeping is extremely important. In addition to doing your taxes, you need to have accurate bookkeeping records. Timely, accurate, detailed accounting provides your business intelligence to arm you in making the most informed business decisions around sales, customer acquisition, inventory management, and operating expenses such as owner pay. If you're going to take a profit home, I mean, what are you going to take without even knowing what you have left in the business? And how do you know that without actually doing the bookkeeping? If you're taking just on a guess, well, I wouldn't recommend that. And there are lots of things to consider before you actually withdraw some money, like for example your sales forecast, for example inventory management, for example your other day-to-day expenses, as well as monthly commitments just like staff wages, storage fees, 3PL, maybe the next shipment is due, tax payment maybe more due, or maybe a company credit card or debt is due, or loan is due to be paid. So there's a lot of things related to the actual regular bookkeeping. If you look deep down, without actual regular bookkeeping, it's kind of impossible to know what you can take, what you cannot take. Taking on a guess, that's not smart business in my opinion. So great. So I mean, this is about that video. I mean, I've fully covered the actual important facts that you should know as an Amazon seller in terms of accounting in the UK. In fact, it does imply towards the other countries as well, as not too much about HMRC rules here, but a lot to do with actual accounting as an Amazon seller. So if you like this video, press the like button, and if you do want me to produce more contents and put it in your inbox, press subscribe and the bell icon, and I will see you on that next one. Thanks a lot, guys. Bye bye now.